Hello and welcome back to the MLB DFS Slate Breakdown for May 13th, Tuesday. We're back. We're going to be breaking it down. We got a nice solid slate to go over today, and I'm your host, Tyler Wiemann. Come join us at LineStar, $39.99 per month. Gets you access to all we do, the props, the DFS. You get it all one low price. All the sports, all the platforms we cover, both website and app. Come join us. Let's go. We also do have a free 7-day trial through the app stores. We also have the opportunity to get 1 month free. Just use our good old promo codes down here. Now, let's dive in. As always, we're going to go position by position. We're going to start off by the perfect lineups from yesterday, then the winning lineups from each site, and then get into some pitchers to consider and some stacks to consider. Now, we got DraftKings perfect lineup. Tyler Wiemann went absolutely nuts. Merrill Kelly had quite the bounce back performance as well. Then we got a 4-man Yankees stack, 2-man A's. Then Corbin Carroll and Massey went nuts to get it done on DraftKings, where the winning lineup went to Good Saab, who had 198.4. They had King, they had Molly, so they went a little chalk at pitcher, but definitely got different with hitting. 5-man Yankee stack, 2-man Royals, 1 off with Ozuna, 5-2-1, the most profitable lineup construction that we see on DraftKings year in and year out. Now, let's get over to FanDuel, see what we got here. We got Merrill Kelly, then 3-man Angels, 2-man Yankees, 2-man Detroit, with a 1-off of the double dinger, Corbin Carroll, who must be using that stuff that Profar was, because he already has 13 home runs on the year. Dude has been absolutely insane to start the year. And then the winning lineup went to Lindell, 98. They had Clark Schmidt. They had a 4-man Yankees, 3-man Tigers, 1 off with Arizona, or Corbin Carroll. Like I said, man's got to be using the same stuff as Profar. And we have seen this 4-3-1 really come out this season and be very profitable on FanDuel. Makes a lot of sense. If the 5-2-1 is working on DraftKings, not too surprised to see the 4-3-1 going on over here and getting it done. Now let's get into the winning lineups, or, well, what will be the winning lineups, hopefully on DraftKings today. So pitchers to consider: high owned, Jose Barrios, 28% owned. You know, Barrios is solid, but this Tampa Bay offense has been a little bit sneaky. I don't mind using a little Barrios. I think 7,800 probably is too cheap for the man. He should probably be more in the 8Ks, mid 8Ks. But he has struggled a little bit lately. 4.81 FIP over the last 5 versus a 4.39 over the last 20. K rate's decent. StatCast data, a little too much hard contact over the last month or so. 38% hard contact and a ton of barreled balls. Now, the last 2 performances have looked much better. 6 innings, 2 earned runs, 9 Ks versus the A's. 6.2 innings, 2 earned run, 8 Ks versus Boston. Those type of ceilings are there. Tampa doesn't scare you a ton, but they've been decent. 251 average versus righties. Just a 111 ISO, though, so not hitting the ball quite as hard. Team BVP data is a little bit in the Rays' favor with a 259 average, 259 ISO, but striking out at 24%. So there is some strikeout upside in this spot. I don't mind some Barrios, but also, don't mind Tampa too, because we do know he can get lit up a little bit. 6 runs in game 1, it can happen with him from time to time. Barrios is fine. Don't absolutely love it, though. Probably going a little over-owned. Robbie Ray, 9K, 24% owned. Guy is pitching incredible right now. 3.145 FIP over his last 5, 27.7% K rate. His last 20 data really doesn't mean too much because it's been since 2022. The guy's really been pitching a bunch of starts. Now we do have a nice sample size so far this year, and he has a 2.84 ERA, striking out at nine batters per 9. All looks very good, but he is versus a very tough offense in the Arizona Diamondbacks. And they've been crushing lefties. 281 average, 174 ISO. Only thing going for him is that he is at home in a pitcher-friendly park. However, he is averaging 31% less fantasy points at home. I don't mind some Robbie Ray, but it is a very, very tough spot versus a team only striking out 18% versus lefties. I don't love it. Think he's going a bit over-owned. Now, let's get into some lower-owned guys. Ben Brown, 7,500, 22% owned. I love this spot for Ben Brown. The guy has been quietly absolutely dealing. 3.21 FIP over his last 20. 2.47 over his last 5 with 27% K rate over both time frames. StatCast data looks fine. However, 34% fly ball or hard contact is a little much. However, it's 46% ground ball, so he is keeping the ball on the ground most of the time. And when it does go in the air, today there are winds blowing in. Only issue is he is averaging 30% less fantasy points at home. Wow, today, cool temperatures, winds blowing in. It's going to be a pitcher-friendly park today. I don't mind some Ben Brown versus the Marlins, who aren't that good. I think it's a great spot, and he should probably go a little bit higher owned than 22%. Spencer Schwellenbach, 8.2K, 21% owned versus the Washington Nationals. Schwellenbach, 3.14 FIP over his last 20. The guy is good. He's getting better. A little rough up over the last 5 starts, but he did face Toronto, St. Louis, Arizona, Dodgers, Cincinnati. Not exactly the teams you want to face. When he faced Miami, he went absolutely nuts. And this national team, while they do have some hitters that are fairly good, as a whole, they're more around league average. I don't mind going to some Spencer Schwellenbach at 8.2K. The ceiling's there for him. Now let's get into some pivot action. 8.3K for Dylan Cease at 18% owned is criminal. He should be way higher owned. I will have a ton of him. He will be one of my higher owned pitchers. 3.58 FIP over his last 20. 3.78 over the last 5. 27% K rate over that span. Allowing some fly balls, but it is a very pitcher-friendly park. He's averaging 45% more fantasy points at home. The splits are in his favor. Angels strike out a lot. I absolutely love this spot for Dylan Cease, and I'm going to have a ton of him. Next, we got Framber Valdez, 8.5K versus the Royals. Royals have started hitting, but Framber better at home. And versus lefties, Royals have a 216 average and a .052 ISO. They're not hitting the ball very well. They're not hitting the ball hard. They have a 235 WOBA. They're not getting on base. I think this is a sneaky good spot for Framber Valdez, and I don't mind some Framber versus them. Also, BVP data, 62 plate attempts. They're hitting 107, striking out at almost 26%. Framber is in a very interesting spot. Next, Kodai Senga, 9.5K versus the Pirates. Pirates don't really scare you much. Senga, averaging 46.7% more fantasy points at home. He's in a very interesting spot. Pittsburgh, 25% K rate. Sub 300 WOBA, 126 ISO. A lot of things going in Senga's favor here. He is too low owned. I'm going to definitely have some Senga. Now, let's get over to FanDuel, see what we got over here. Our high owned on FanDuel, Dylan Cease, Kodai Senga. No surprise. I'm going to have a lot of those guys. And honestly, I think that DraftKings should have similar ownership here. Ben Brown at 8,300 is an interesting salary saver to me. Max Fried, 10.8K, 16% owned. Look, Fried isn't a very pitcher-friendly park, so you want to consider him. But it is a sneaky rough spot for Fried. Mariners are quietly absolutely raking versus lefties. 265 average, 232 ISO. They are striking out a decent amount, so there is some upside. And Fried has been dealing. He even, kept the Padres to 1 run and 8 Ks in 7 innings last time out. So I don't mind some Fried. The ceiling is absolutely there, but it is a little bit of a harder spot than you would expect in my eyes. I don't absolutely love it, but it's hard to argue with how good he has been in New York so far. I don't mind a little bit of him. Chris Bubik is also a guy that we should talk about. Guy has been dealing, has 350-plus burger games so far. Houston versus lefties hasn't been all that great. They hit the ball hard, but outside of that, 227 average, striking out 25%. I don't mind a little Bubik. I think the upside is there, but I also think he's just priced too high in this spot. So you're paying up to be different with him, and there's a path to his success. I don't totally mind it. One thing I want to go over here is, because I think the Yankees may end up being a little chalky, but Brian Wu, way better at home. So it does scare me a little bit going after the Yankees versus Brian Wu today. Now, let's get over to some stacks before we can close out this quick one today. Our highest owned stacks, we got Texas versus Kyle Freebaum. Now, I know I love to say Kyle Freebaum, but he's actually been pitching pretty good this year. 4.03 FIP over the last 5. 4.58 over the last 20. He's outside of Colorado. This Texas offense really has been struggling this year. It's not a spot that I love to follow, the crowd here. So I may get different, may get away from Texas a little bit, but there is definitely some reasons to want Texas. Colorado bullpen's terrible. Freeland has been prone to big blow-up games. So I don't totally hate it, but might go elsewhere a little bit more. Dodgers. It is likely that Jeffrey Springs is pitching for the A's. We just don't have official announcement yet, but Dodgers always in play here. It's just they're expensive. So to be able to get a 5-man Dodger stack on DraftKings, you probably need to play some Ben Browns and some of those cheaper guys. However, like Dylan Cease isn't that expensive. You could go Cease and Valdez and, still play some expensive Dodger bats. I don't mind going some Dodgers. I do think their ownership should be a little bit higher in this spot. Now, highest value stacks for the day, we got Colorado versus Jack Leiter. Makes a lot of sense to me. 5.16 FIP, 4.32 over the last 5. He has been improving. He has been getting a little bit better. Colorado is a little bit interesting. I don't want to say I can't touch that offense, but I don't absolutely love it. Toronto versus Shane Baz. I don't mind some Toronto. They do have some bats that can get it done. 4.78 FIP over the last 5 is a little bit interesting there. And then our highest ceiling for the night, we got Dodgers. We got Cubs. Cubs versus Belozo makes some sense. 5.44 FIP over his last 20. Cubs offense is good. Arizona versus Robbie Ray. If Ray has some issue with his control, he can let too many guys on base, and then one hit can knock him out of the game or change the entire game where Giants are in kind of catch-up mode and go to the bullpen early. Yankees versus Woo. Don't love the spot. I think Woo's a very, very good pitcher. Might not have a ton of Yankees on my side today. And then a highest leverage, we got Padres versus Jose Soriano. Look, Soriano can't strike out guys, and behind him is a poor bullpen. So I think Padres have some life in them. They also might be a little angry after last night. I sure am, because the Angels whooped our butt late, and it wasn't fun. Highest team total here, Dodgers at 5.5. We got Braves at 5 versus Soroka. I do have to say Soroka was a big-time prospect, and he is starting to deal a little bit. 2.19 FIP over his last 5 starts, and been extremely hard to hit. However, if the Braves get to him, that bullpen behind him is awful. So makes some sense to still want to have a little bit in that aspect. Mets versus Mitch Keller. Makes a ton of sense to go try and pick on Mitch Keller. He can have some blow-up games. Padres versus Soriano makes some sense there. We talked about Cubs already. Just didn't want to feel like I skipped that. A's versus Landon Knack. Run total of 4. But Landon Knack, 4.75 FIP over his last 20, 4.42 over the last 5. A high hard contact rate, high average exit velocity. And then also, winds are blowing hard out in Dodger Stadium. 9.5 game total. I think the A's are going to go a little bit under own. Now, from what we saw last year, the A's are streaky, but they can have some huge blow-up games, and this is an interesting one for me. I also got to throw out the Giants here. Brandon Pfaff, high average exit velocity, high hard contact rate. Bullpen behind him isn't great. I think the Giants could be a low-owned stack that are a little interesting. And that's going to do it for us today, guys. Let's have a good one. Let's make some money, and I will see you guys with more on the prop shows later, as well as tomorrow's MLB DFS show. Talk to y'all later. Peace.